Thank you very much. I first have Jessica Bruno, the Yield Fund.
This question is either for you or for Senator Phillip. The government's going to be cutting again in the spring with the coming budget, 5 or 10% of departments. So you're already talking about the reduced capacity as it is. What's going to happen to your officers and also assistance services to Canadians after the coming budget?
I'll just add that I think these cuts are going to put lives at risk, and that this is unacceptable. Obviously, Canadians do not want to see any lives, whether it's fishermen on the East Coast or West Coast or tankers or ferry traffic. They want to see adequate protection. They want to see safety primary. So with the cuts coming, this is going to be it's a question of priority for this government. So we need to maintain service levels as a bare minimum. Okay.
We're like firefighters. We are frontline officers listening to those distress frequencies and regulating marine traffic. We need enough officers on watch at all times to maintain an adequate level of service and to detect those distress calls.
I could add that when the situations of distress that we speak of are usually far and away, they're not front-page news. We don't see them right away. They're away from the public scrutiny. So when the Conservatives are cutting, they do try to cut in areas where they can get away with it. And they feel they can get away with this one, and this is one that might cost lives. This is an important cut. They feel they can get away with this because they figure nobody's going to be watching. So we're here to make sure that people understand this might not be happening in a large centre like Toronto, where there's a lot of media attention, a lot of public scrutiny. It's happening in faraway regions, small communities like where I live, where the lives of our mariners, the lives of our fishers, and the communities themselves might be in danger if we don't stop these cuts. These cuts are going to cost regions way more than the regions are having to pay the brunt of the cuts that Conservatives are proposing, much more than the urban centres, and this is simply unacceptable, especially when we're talking about risking lives.
Paul McLeod, Chronicle Herald, sorry.
Thank you. Mr. Gregoire, I just want to clarify with the incident you mentioned in January. Well, specifically about the call getting picked up by another centre. I mean, is there no mechanism in place for all of these centres that if a call isn't being picked up, another centre?
Each centre covers a given geographical area, and every centre has some double coverage in part of its geographical area. That's the way communication towers are set up to make sure that there is an overlap. But it's only part of each centre geographical area which enjoys this overlapping service over this given area. So in this one case in Pacific region in January, this vessel calling for help happened to be in the right area, in this area where there was overlapping coverage.
Not have overlap.
Most areas do not have that.
So how real do you think the risk is that? Well, I mean, we're hearing that their lives are at risk. Do you think that's the case?
Allan, please go ahead.
That incident occurred in our region, in Pacific region, as Martin alluded to. It happened in an area of joint coverage between 3 centres. 2 of the 3 centres did not detect the call, partially because it was a very weak call for assistance. And secondly, they were practicing the dry run of the reduced staffing at the time. And the other officers, one was extremely busy in one of the centres regulating marine traffic, had a headset on, and the other one was busy collecting lighthouse weather reports and transcribing weather information being transposed onto the continuous marine broadcast. So 2 of the 3 centres were all doing that same function at that same time, and that weak call was missed by 2 of the 3 centres that had coverage in that area. The centre that had responsibility for that geographic area on a piece of paper on a map didn't detect it. It was an adjacent centre that resolved the situation successfully.
Doing the dry run, or was
all centres in Canada were doing the dry run at the time in January.
geography there, because we're talking two on the east coast of Vancouver Island and one on the west coast, I believe.
Yes. So the center in Prince Rupert, Comox, and Tofino have a common area north of Port Hardy in which they have monitoring responsibility. There is some overlap on the VHF coverage for that area. So what transpired is the Tofino Center, located had a site on the northern side of Vancouver Island that happened to detect that call. Prince Rupert, which also has Comox, did not detect the call. They were alerted through a SAR circuit alert that this incident was going on after the initial call.
When in January was it?
I don't have a specific date. It was around the middle of January.
We're not going to go on phone.
Oui, bonjour.
Yep. Est-ce que vous avez des questions?
Est-ce que je pourrais poser une question à Thierry Haroun de la radio CHNC à New Carlisle? J'aurais, s'il vous plaît, deux questions à poser au député Phillip Toone. Monsieur Toone, est-ce que vous avez une idée du nombre d'emplois qui seront coupés prochainement? Et deuxième question, est-ce que dans votre démarche, vous avez reçu l'appui de, par exemple, des associations de pêcheurs, des municipalités et des environnementalistes?
Tout à fait. Premièrement, le nombre d'emplois, on parle de 11 centres de trafic maritime qui va perdre des effectifs. On parle d'un emploi, parfois deux par centre. Mais alors, on parle au-delà d'une dizaine d'emplois qui vont être perdus dans les prochaines, qui vont être perdus prochainement. Pour ce qui est de l'appui qu'on a reçu, c'est certain que pour les associations de pêcheurs, que ce soit l'association des capitaines basée à Rivière-au-Renard et aussi l'association de M. O'Neill à Grande-Rivière nous appuient dans ces démarches. Ils sont très préoccupés par le fait que dans une situation de détresse, nos pêcheurs auraient probablement moins d'effectifs pour leur donner de l'appui. On sait que dans le cas de l'association de pêcheurs, de capitaines pêcheurs, on a déjà eu des exemples où il y a eu des situations de détresse qui étaient très inquiétants. Par exemple, une situation où un pêcheur pas loin de Rivière-au-Renard a appelé pour de l'aide et malheureusement, il n'y avait pas de francophone disponible pour répondre à son appel. Et là, c'était une question de quelques secondes. Ils ont finalement trouvé quelqu'un de bilingue pour lui donner un coup de main, mais la fermeture du centre à Québec est très préoccupant pour nous autres. Alors, c'est certain que les pêcheurs s'opposent à cette compression et on va continuer à mettre des pressions, spécialement pour la fermeture à centre à Québec, spécialement à St. John's, mais aussi pour les centres de trafic maritime à les Escumins et à Québec.
Merci, ça me va très bien.
Merci.
Hello.
Oui.
Yes, my name is Barb Sweet. I'm a reporter at the Telegram in St. John's, Newfoundland. And I was wondering if someone could speak, perhaps Mr. Donnelly could speak to what he expects the specific impact would be to this region from the cuts.
Thanks for the question. I think that this is a serious a slowdown in terms of the communication that response time for any kind of distress call, whether it's a fisher in your area, in your region off the East Coast, or if it's a recreationalist, or if it's a large traffic like a tanker or marine situation. And this is the kind of issue that we want to avoid with these kind of delays where seconds and minutes count. As Monsieur Gregoire mentioned, these are first responders. This is communication that's vital. This communication is important in saving lives. So the cuts to service will put increased pressure on getting a quick response to those that are in distress that need it.
Thank you.
Other questions on the phone? Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions dans la salle? Other questions? Thank you very much. I think
I just wanted to remind people that Canadians that want to support the call here for the immediate reversal of these cuts can go, as Phillip Toone mentioned, can go to the website, either my website, findonnelly.ca, or to Philip's website, philliptoone.ca as well. And that's a way we're urging all Canadians to go to the website to sign the petition and show their support. Thank you very much.